Hello, Havarim. Dr. Victoria Sarvati here with another Grace and Peace. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Abraham, God called one man. And I'm going to start with this text in Isaiah chapter 51, verses 1 through 3. It says, "Listen to me, you who pursue righteousness and who seek the Lord. Look to the rock from which you were cut and to the quarry from which you were hewn. Look to Abraham, your father, and to Sarah, who gave you birth." I'm going to stop right there and just comment on this. You know, the entire Israelite nation was birthed by Sarah. In fact, the very Messiah was inside of Sarah whenever she conceived Isaac. And this is such an interesting concept that every baby girl is born with all the little nodules, all the little eggs that she's going to have for the rest of her life inside of an infant. And within those eggs were the eggs of her grandchildren, and so on and so forth. So really, Sarah was pregnant with the Messiah whenever she gave birth to Isaac. And that birth, of course, eventually came to be, but less than 1,800 years later when Yeshua was born. So what's very interesting, though, is this next part. It says, "When I called him, he was only one man, and I blessed him and made him many." And so this interesting word "one" is actually in Hebrew the word echad. And echad is a compound unity of many that make one. And so what does it mean that he was one, echad? It means that he was already married to Sarah, and that one day there would be children, there would be many that would come from his loins and from Sarah's body as well. And so this is very interesting that God made this covenant not only with just only Abraham, Yachid, which means a singular one. That word's not used. Echad is used. And so when a man and woman come together, they are echad. They are one in a unity, in a plural sense. And so he was saying that Sarah was also a part of this covenant promise. And so I just want you to know that, you know, we have a father Abraham, but we also have a mother in Sarah. And I think that we should probably think about that and about the seed of the woman and how that was propitiated over time and, of course, made into the Messiah eventually. You know, there were three things that God promised in his covenant with Abraham. And that was that he would give them a land, and this land would be an inheritance to their children. And he also says that he will make them a great nation, a nation that would have a sovereignty that would be very apparent, and that this is where he would bring his throne. This is where his kingdom would be placed so that he could rule the nations from the head of nations. So there has to be a sovereign nation, God promised to Abraham. And of course, he promised them to be a great people, a people that, you know, you won't be able to tell how many there are because there's like the sands of the earth and the stars in the sky. We know that many of Israel has been scattered into the nations, and who knows how many have propagated in the nations. But we know that God's promised a large number will come back and return to the land of Israel, and they will plant it, and it will grow for them, and it will perform for them. God has got so many promises in his covenant, and this covenant is actually extended to those who call upon his name and receive these promises through obedience in his word by the Messiah. You know, I think that whenever we receive the Messiah, there's something very mystical that happens in us. And the word says that he actually writes his laws on our hearts. And so we begin to do the things that Torah requires because it's written in us. We become living Torahs. And so we must be obedient to what God is calling us to do, what he's writing in us, what he is telling us in our conscience, in our heart. And so this is the covenant that he has made with us, that he would write his laws in us, and that we would walk in those statutes and we would be obedient to him. After all, if he is our God, then we will be obedient to our God. If he's not your God, then don't do anything he tells you to do. Go after other gods and please those gods. But if he is your God, then you're going to listen to his words and you're going to walk in his ways. And so I just want to encourage you today that Father Abraham is your father, but you're also born of the mother Sarah, and within you the Messiah has been given as a brother, as a family member, and you are a part of the great family of God. You're adopted in, but you're also a part of this by the Spirit that actually makes you born into a brand new creation. God bless you and have a great day.